Debt. It's a word that can make people kind of nervous.
Right.
All right? Like this big, scary thing looming over you. But you know what? It's not always the bad guy. Not always.
Right.
Today, we're going to deep dive into debt. Really explore, like, what makes good debt good, what makes bad debt bad,
Yeah.
and how understanding this whole thing can really, really help you make some smart money choices
Absolutely.
and hopefully build some wealth along the way. We found this really interesting piece
Okay.
that's going to help us kind of break it all down.
Cool.
I think a lot of people, they just think, debt's bad, got to get rid of it.
Yeah, they kind of just lump it all together.
Right.
It's this big bad thing. But, you know, it can actually be a pretty good tool if you're smart about it.
I like that. A tool. So let's start with the good stuff. Good debt.
Okay.
To me, it's like an investment. You're not just spending money you don't have.
Yeah.
You're trying to make something happen.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Oh, totally. 100%. It's all about getting assets that are going to, be worth more later, or things that'll help you make money down the road.
Okay, so like a mortgage, right?
Yeah.
Huge debt. But is it always bad? I don't know.
Right.
You're paying for a house. Houses usually go up in value. Plus, you're building equity every time you make a payment.
That's the thing. If you're renting, you're just paying for a roof. You don't own anything at the end of it.
Right. You're just like throwing money away almost.
Almost, yeah. And with a house, there are tax breaks too.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Sometimes you can, deduct the interest you're paying on that mortgage from your taxes.
So even though it feels scary to take on, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt,
Right.
it might actually be a pretty good move long term.
Long term, yeah.
And it's not just houses. What about, like, student loans for a degree that's going to, get you a good job?
Exactly.
Or maybe a business loan so you can, like, start your own thing.
Yeah, if it's going to make money, it's got to be good debt, right?
Right. But I guess that's what separates it from, like, the bad debt.
Right. Good debt is fuel. Bad debt just makes you spend more.
Yeah, bad debt is more like getting a fancy coffee every day.
Ooh, yeah. I see it.
It seems small, but it adds up. And you're not really getting anything lasting out of it.
Exactly. Bad debt, it's usually stuff that loses value super fast. And the interest rates are killer. Like, you buy a new phone.
Yeah.
It's already worth less the minute you walk out of the store. Clothes, gadgets, those impulse buys you regret right away.
Oh, and don't even get me started on those payday loans.
Oh, man.
Some of them have interest rates, like 100%.
Crazy, right?
It's like a trap. How do you ever get out of that?
Yeah, you get stuck. Especially with those credit cards. High interest just keeps piling up. You're running just to stay in place.
That makes me think of something. We talk about mortgages and student loans as good debt.
Yeah.
But could they, like, flip and become bad debt?
That's a good question. And honestly, yeah, it happens. You borrow too much, your life changes, suddenly you can't keep up with the payments.
Like, you take out a huge loan for school, thinking you'll get this great job.
Mm-hmm.
But then it doesn't happen. That investment just becomes this giant weight around your neck.
Exactly. It's all about context. Got to be smart about how much you borrow and have a plan to pay it back. Good debt or bad debt, you got to be responsible.
Makes sense.
I think the big takeaway is this. It's not about avoiding debt completely. It's about, understanding what kind of debt you have and using it in a way that helps you reach your goals.
So true. Everyone's always like, get out of debt. But sometimes debt can actually help you, right, get to those big goals.
100%.
Okay, so how do we manage all this? Good debt, bad debt, it could feel kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, you got to have a plan.
Yeah.
Not all debt is the same. If you got both, good and bad. First thing, you got to tackle that high interest bad debt. That's the stuff that really keeps you down.
Oh, yeah. I've been there. You feel like you're just throwing money away.
Right. Just piling up interest, never getting ahead.
So what can we do?
Well, there are a couple of popular methods. The debt avalanche and the debt snowball.
I've heard of those.
Yeah.
Break them down for me. Which one's which?
Okay, so avalanche, it's like strategic.
Okay.
You focus on the debt with the highest interest rate.
Oh, okay.
Make minimum payments on everything else, then throw everything you can at the big one, knock it out, move to the next highest.
Boom, boom, like
Well,
dominoes.
Exactly. Get rid of the ones costing you the most first.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What about snowball?
Snowball is more about momentum, feeling good about making progress.
Okay, I like that.
So you start with the smallest debt, doesn't matter the interest rate, just the smallest amount. Pay it off fast as you can.
Uh-huh.
Then you take that money you were paying, add it to the next smallest debt, and so on. It snowballs as you go.
I like that. You get these little wins along the way. Keep you motivated.
Yeah, it's good for people who get discouraged easily. You need to see that progress to keep going.
So avalanche is more like the logical, efficient way.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And snowball is for those who need that, like, emotional boost.
Exactly. It depends on your personality, and your situation. What works for one person might not work for another.
Okay, that's for the bad debt.
Right.
But what about the good stuff? Can you manage that better, too?
Oh, for sure. Refinancing can be huge, especially for those big loans like mortgages.
Refinancing. Okay, remind me.
Yeah.
It's like you trade in your old loan for a new one.
Exactly. Maybe get a lower interest rate, better terms.
But how does that actually work, and why is it so helpful?
Well, let's say interest rates have gone down since you got your mortgage.
Okay.
You can refinance, get a new loan with that lower rate. You could save a ton of money over time.
So it's like you're giving your good debt a makeover.
Yeah. Making it work even harder for you.
Nice. So it's all about being proactive, looking for ways to, like, optimize your debt, even the good kind.
Exactly. Got to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
And speaking of being proactive, gotta mention credit score. Super important.
Oh, yeah, that's like your financial report card, right?
Pretty much. Good credit score, you get better interest rates, better loan terms, even affects things like your insurance.
It's wild how much it affects. But a lot of people don't realize managing your debt well, even good debt,
Yeah.
can actually help you build good credit.
Shows lenders you're responsible, you can handle money.
That's the key. Hang on time, managing it all well. You're proving you're trustworthy. That opens doors down the line.
Okay, so we covered a lot today.
Yeah, we did.
Let's recap. Good debt versus bad debt.
Okay.
We kind of busted that myth that all debt is bad, right?
Right. Yeah.
Good debt, like that mortgage we talked about, or student loans for a field that'll actually make you money.
Yeah.
That can actually help you build wealth. It's all about being smart, using that borrowed money to invest in things that'll grow in value or, help you make more money down the line.
Exactly. Invest in your future. Then there's the bad debt. The stuff that really drains your bank account.
Keeps you stuck.
Those high-interest credit cards, those payday loan traps, those impulse buys you regret right away.
Yep. That's the stuff that holds you back.
And we even talked about how good debt can turn bad. If you borrow too much, or life throws you a curveball,
It happens all the time.
suddenly you can't keep up with those payments. Got to be careful.
Yeah.
Plan ahead. Be responsible.
Definitely. No matter what kind of debt you have, you got to manage it.
We talked about some ways to do that too.
He said.
Pay down that high-interest bad debt first. Use those avalanche or snowball methods, whatever works for you.
Yeah, find what keeps you motivated.
And refinancing can be a big help.
Yeah.
Maybe get a lower interest rate on that good debt.
Exactly. Always be looking for ways to make it work better for you.
And of course, that credit score. Keep it healthy.
Super important. Like we said, it affects so much.
Yeah, good credit opens doors. And a big part of that is managing your debt well. Even the good debt shows you're responsible with money.
It builds trust, shows lenders you're good for it.
So I guess the bottom line is this. Debt doesn't have to be scary. Learn the difference between good and bad. Make a plan. Be smart about it. You can actually make debt work for you.
I like that. Debt working for you, not against you.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of debt.
My pleasure.
We'll be back with more exciting topics to explore.
Yeah.
Until then, keep those brains buzzing.